Hello. I thought I'd better post this because the guilt is eating me. It's eating me alive. So I am at the beginning of week 4. I injected yesterday. This is not going to be a very long video because not a lot has happened. I've not got a lot to say. So after my maintain week last week, I spent the week obsessively weighing myself just about every day, getting more and more and more annoyed at the fact that I hadn't actually, it wasn't moving, the scales weren't moving, and I was like, oh my word. I'd also had a phone call from the dispensing person, consultancy person, whatever, from SheMed, and we'd had a little bit of a chat because I'd been sent a questionnaire just to kind of see how I had been doing on my, who is this person? How I had been doing on my 2.5 milligrams, and if any of my symptoms had changed or any symptoms had appeared or whatever the case may be. So it was quite thorough. It was very similar to that first one that had initially been filled out before I started, but there were just a few extra questions. So after I'd filled that out, maybe 3 days later or something to that effect, I got a phone call. And I noted that I had like weird prickly sensations, sort of like on my one side, almost like feeling cold and goosebumpy and prickly. I don't have any better description of it because, yeah. And I was a little worried because it was kind of at that underarm potential booby area, and I was a bit like, oh, that's not good. I don't know that I want that in my life. Apparently, one of the symptoms can be that you feel cold when it's not cold, which maybe I have actually been experiencing a little bit of that. I definitely did yesterday and the day before because I was under a blanket and it was not actually cold. Anyway, so she'd said that after we'd had a bit of a conversation, she'd said, look, we're going to just keep you on the 2.5, which is good because I'd heard that some places like to kind of ramp you up. I think the difference with SheMed is that you pay the same amount regardless of your dosage amount. Yes. So it doesn't matter if you're on 12.5 milligrams or whatever, if that's even one of the dosages. But I'm quite happy to stay on 2.5. I wasn't last week because, again, the scales weren't moving and I could feel nearly from the beginning of the week. So my main indicator is not so much food, but my arms are really sore. I can't hold this phone anymore. I need to do some weight training or something. But one of my main indicators is alcohol. So if I don't feel like having a drink, I know that that's like suppression for me. I'm not too bad at suppression. Obviously, once you have like a glass of wine or a cider or whatever, you're like, oh, I'll have some crisps. Oh, this looks nice. Oh, that looks interesting. So that's kind of a big indicator for me if things are not quite suppressy. However, it was just kind of a bit of a bad week last week. Anyway, so I weighed myself all week and I was just sitting on 17.5 stone, which is the weight that I was in my second weigh-in. I was almost like, maybe these scales are broken. The scales weren't broken. I had just had a really quite a boozy week and I wasn't focused on eating very well at all. Yeah. Anyway, so I took my jab yesterday, and I felt okay. It feels a little bit different. It doesn't feel quite as like extreme and wild as it did in the beginning. There's still this kind of feeling of calm. Yesterday wasn't a very calm day. I felt very overwhelmed. There was a lot of shenanigans going on. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm still on the 2.5 because I think that's probably part of learning to work with it so that you can learn to have a little bit of a control there, but also maybe start thinking for yourself rather than have the medication control you, which I think is one of the main things that people often do. Is that, I don't know really, I've watched some videos, I've read some articles, I've listened to some podcasts. It's all still, it's not new, but it's new enough that we don't really maybe know enough about it, as far as like, yeah, anyway. So yes, I feel good today, I think. It's helping in a way that I know that there are benefits to fasting. I'm so bad at it though. I'm like so bad at fasting. I can't do it. Because I have to have my like coffee first thing in the morning, and not black without anything in it. I have to have a coffee with sugar and milk, and it's my coffee, and don't mess with my coffee. So it does kind of help a little with that. So I haven't had any coffee this morning. I have been a very, very busy bee this morning. But yeah, so I've maybe not had anything to eat now for 12 hours because last night I was sipping away at an alcohol-free beer and lost track of time. It was pretty late. I was cleaning the kitchen. There's this lemon lager that Lucky Saint does. It's really nice, and I don't like beer. So I think I'm just drinking it because it's nice. It happens to be alcohol free as well, but it is nice. It's refreshing. It's not like sweet and like bleh, or very, very beery. Anyway, enough of that. So yes, I have actually just weighed myself because I was meant to do the weigh-in yesterday and I forgot because the day of the shenanigans. And I think I'm maybe 2 pounds down. I didn't look very carefully because I didn't trust my eyes. Interruption from the artificial intelligence woman reminding me to do a thing that I need to do, but I've now officially got too many things to do. Anyway, so I think I'm 2 pounds down, which makes me a stone and a bit down. Does that make me a stone and a bit down? I don't know. I'll have to look at my bits and pieces. Maybe just a stone. As you can see, I'm not focusing on this enough, but yeah, I didn't do my call in yesterday, so like my app's gonna start like beeping at me and getting angry because I've not done my weigh in. I did do my jab yesterday, but because I was rushing, I knew that I might forget to do it, so I just did it in the morning and then rushed off and did things. But you're supposed to call in first to SheMed, and they will note down your things, etc., etc. Check your batch number, check your expiry date. I am gonna ask them today. It's like I did my final jab, but there is like that much of the solution left in the pen, which to me seems quite a lot for something that is quite expensive. So I need to maybe email them and ask them about that because it feels really wasteful to just throw that away. It is expensive. Anyway, I have lost a bit. I have weighed this morning. I will see how I get on this week. Hopefully I will be okay. Oh my word, that is over 8 minutes, and I said this would be short. So bye-bye.